My camera's gonna kind of hide some stuff, but we're just gonna go over it. We're starting with Trapper. Trapper is the only killer in the game besides Oni that starts without his power. You have to go and collect it off of the ground, which is way worse than Oni because at least Oni can gather his power by chasing survivors. Trapper, you can't even use your power chasing survivors. You need to leave them and set it up. I don't know. Trapper, I'm putting him in D tier. Trapper still sucks. The buffs that he's doing make it feel a bit better. I still think he should just spawn with his traps and be able to walk over his traps without them disarming. Like I think that add-on, the fact that it has to be an add-on and that it still disables his power when he does it is insane to me. Because when you think of other games with trap-based powers, like you're immune to it because it's your own trap. Even Hag can walk over her own traps without triggering them. Wraith, I think I think Wraith, he used to be pretty bad, but a while back, like years ago, they buffed him, and I think he's in a pretty solid space. I kind of even want to put him in like A minus tier, but I'm gonna put him at I'm gonna put him at B, top of B tier, because yeah, I'll list them in order as well where I think they belong in B tier. Billy, I'm gonna put in A tier though. Billy is super strong right now, and he's not even that overpowered. He's not S tier in my opinion, but Billy he can just cover so much ground, which is like the grounds for a good killer as map control, map pressure, and good chases. He has good map pressure. He has good map control because he can get around the map very well, and he has really good chases if you're good with him. While at the same time, survivors have decent counterplay. Unless he's out of overdrive mode, then it becomes a little bit scary and harder to counter. The pink add-on might make that a little different, but I think with low pro chains, he's definitely an A tier, which is good because he was always in like B minus before. Nurse, S tier. She's still the best killer in the game. I don't really know what to say about that. Nurse is just Nurse is just really good. Billy belongs in A tier. Yes, praise to the king Billy. Nurse is just always gonna be the best killer unless they were to like make it so she can't blink through walls or something, and she has to like blink like Blight does, or I don't know how they could rework Nurse. I just don't think she will ever not be S tier. Huntress, definitely A tier. I kind of want to. No, I wouldn't put her above Billy right now. With the new 7 hatchets default and faster like pickup speed, she is pretty good. Ha they're not really changes that we haven't seen because those were add-ons she could run before, but like having those base kit, pretty nice. Maybe she would be A tier if she could have 10 hatchets, or maybe she'd be above Billy if she could still have like 9 hatchets, I guess, because you wouldn't want to run double hatchet add-ons. But they removed that thankfully, and I don't think the add-ons that they added are that good. Myers is kind of tricky because he absolutely sucks with most of his add-ons, but then you bring Tombstone Peace, and then he's like S tier. You know, play with your food, Tombstone Peace. He is so strong, and I think for that, I might readjust this list later. I'm gonna put him in B minus. Yeah, B minus. I'd say C tier, but that add-on existing, I'd put there. Hag, they gave her some really good buffs. They made it so she has eight increased meters of teleport range. She can. It stays there for an extra second longer. It's there for 6 seconds. It takes a bit longer to wipe away her traps. Uh, they gave her add-ons to reduce the trap trigger range, so now survivors can't just like hit the edge of the trap and then run away. Like you'll be able to get hit still. I do think though, from what she used to be kind of like even an S tier even. Now that you can't just disable all ways to get rid of her traps by using Franklin's and getting rid of their flashlights, and they can just get rid of it no matter what now. I think that did drop her down a little bit. I'm gonna put her in A minus tier. I think she's pretty strong, but she's not the best. A minus is just for like the bottom of A tier and to also make sure uh it's a little more spread out a bunch among a bun. I can't talk, guys. Best feeling the game is free, so that game isn't seen as a pay to win. Yeah, probably. He jumps all over the tier list. He could have his own tier. Wraith is A minus. He can't get light burned. I don't know if I put Wraith on the same level of Hag though, because Hag has great map pressure. And Wraith just, he does have speed. I just can't see Wraith going above B tier. I'm sorry. I can't put him above B tier. I think Doctor, new Doctor, having base kit, old 20% discipline, and base kit brown extra range add-on, and being able to compare that and just run other add-ons now whenever you want, or like double Eries even being better. Like I think Doctor is A minus tier. Is that? Do you think that's over too high? I think Doctor is actually really strong. That might be a little too high, but his anti-loop is good, and he's good at tracking survivors, and he has some slowdown when they have to break out of it, especially if you run other add-ons. I think he's, after the buffs, he could be A tier. S tier? No, no, I wouldn't. But I'm probably actually I probably should stop reading chat as much so I can just make a whole list because this is meant to be more of like a video for YouTube. But it's supposed to be my plain opinion. I think, but I do want to get feedback from you guys. You think he's B tier unless he has very rare iridescent add-ons? Uh, no, I don't need to know any builds. Calm Spirit takes his effect away. Yeah, we'll put him in B tier with Wraith. Probably above Wraith, though. Bubba, I'm sorry to say, Bubba... You know what? If Bubba's going to be in B minus, we're putting Myers in C tier. Bubba is just very meh. He needs to have, like, increased speed base kit like Billy and just longer charges. I really don't know what they could do to Bubba. Bubba is just very bland. I'll put him in B tier. At the bottom of B tier. I don't think he needs to be in B minus. Freddy, absolute garbage. I think Freddy's the worst killer in the game. You they start awake and you have absolutely no power. You have default terror radius. You cannot do anything to them while they start awake because he can't use his pools of blood and he can't use his fake pallets. And even when they are asleep, his power is just so mid. Like the blood pools barely get you a hit. Sometimes they don't even give you a hit at all. And the fake pallets are completely countered by teams who do callouts. They'd be like, "Oh, Shack Pallet's fake." Like you don't have to be a comp team to say Shack Pallet's fake, you know? Like it's not that hard to call out Freddy things. Freddy just absolutely sucks. I don't think there's much more to say on him. Even when he was considered OP and they nerfed him, his power was still meh in my opinion. And it was weird. Piggy, she has great slowdown. I kind of want to put her in A tier. Is that A minus tier? Her new power feels so good. Like her new chase power feels so good. She can get around the map faster in stealth. And the slowdown has won me so many games. Like I don't know what I'm at right now for my Piggy win streak, but we're on like a 20 plus win streak. And I beat that team on Orman in one of my previous videos. And it was really nice to have the traps. Like it definitely complemented her power pretty well. I think A minus might be a bit too much. But the buffs they did to her did give her justice. She used to be around C tier for me, and now I'm gonna put her B tier, I think. Clown. The new clown changes. 6 bottles base kit, perfect. I think that was a great change. Extra duration, extra second duration, that's good. The faster activation's good. But because he has those extra increased yellow bottles now, being able to have 15% movement speed increase yellow bottles, it makes him pretty strong. I don't think I haven't done enough testing with Clown to put him in A tier. I think he has some good. Like people say Clown doesn't have map pressure, but in my opinion, his yellow bottles give him map pressure because it gives him a speed increase, so he can get across the map quicker. And that's generally when I use it. I feel like he does have map pressure, and his anti loop is stronger than Wraith's. I just don't know. He used to be in C tier for me as well. Piggy used to be C tier, and I feel like if I can put Piggy in B tier, I can put Clown in at least like B minus, right? Piggy being stronger than Clown though is wild. Because when I compare it to other killers now, well, we'll put him here as a placeholder. I might rework the list a bit at the end. At the end, if you do want to see like the final playlist or the final tier list, I'll probably adjust it and then like have like the final one at the end. Spirit, I'm gonna put A tier. It won't let me put it in front of Billy. What the heck? There we go. Spirit's definitely stronger than Billy. She's not S tier anymore. They did an add-on nerf and they did a tweak so you could hear her phasing location now. It's not that bad. Spirit definitely gonna be A tier. She used to be S tier. Now you can kind of keep track of her. Legion. I don't know what else to say. Legion does a great job at getting people injured, and then once they're injured, he has absolutely no chase power, and that just heavily hurts him. It heavily hurts Legion. Like he has no chase power to keep up with him. Mm. Maybe some add-ons are good. Like I think Never Sleep Pills plus Mural Sketch where you can like have an insanely long duration. Like I've been able to get a few hits and like the downs are nice out of that because you're pressuring everybody on the map. But if it's a big map or if it's a good team, the good team will just make it so the first person you hit just stays right next to you the entire time. And when you go and try to frenzy hit a full health person, the person in mending will just take a hit again. And if you hit anybody in mending, it ends your power. So they can body block in mending, prevent your entire power. And so that just makes Legion even worse. He can't even get them all injured at that point. Plague. Plague is very strong. I'll put her above Billy. She can get everybody injured, and then she has a power to punish them if they remove it. And the power to remove it, or the power that she gets when she removes it, is probably one of the strongest powers in the game if you know how to use it well. Plague is very strong. Especially her add-ons. Oh my god, her pink add-ons are incredibly good as well. I think she's just a good killer. I don't think she's overpowered. I think she's always been pretty balanced. The general consensus is you don't cleanse if the plague is like very good, or you know that they're good, and so most of the time you just don't want to cleanse. But I run Play With Your Food on Plague, so the people who don't cleanse get absolutely punished by it because I'm going 130 movement speed every chase, and it screws them over. You can also run Bamboozle, probably more common Bamboozle, but I like Play With Your Food, it's fun. You could probably do both even. Ghostface. Ghostface suffers. I won't put him below my. Yeah, I'll put him above Myers. He's great at stealth. He can control it a lot more, and he's great at getting people stalked. But once they are stalked, they'll just pre-drop or they'll use any pallets they have available to them to prevent a hit. And if they're at a strong area, they're just gonna run you till the timer runs out. And if you're taking that long to get it down on somebody, it's gonna be super bad. The general idea with Myers and Ghostface is you want to expose them right as you're right behind them to get the hit. Um, and Ghostface does have a great add-on for that, which gives them 10% speed after stalking them. And I think just that add-on existing gets Ghostface into B tier. But he still suffers. He doesn't have any anti-loop. At least even Myers has like somewhat faster vaulting speed. Demogorgon, I'm going to say, is also in the same fate as Bubba, where he's just forever pretty mid. He's not a bad killer. He's not the best killer. I'll put him above Piggy, though. I think Piggy might be a little too high. I'm going to put Doctor above Piggy. And Wraith. No, 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 no. At least she has more slowdown than Wraith does. Oni, another A tier killer. Better than Billy, though? I don't think so. I don't think Oni's better than Billy. Definitely better than Huntress. Oh, now I'm rethinking of if Plague. I feel like Plague is like right between them. They could be together. I might put Plague behind Billy. Yeah. I think these two they do such similar things, but Billy is just slightly better in my opinion. I think Oni is a great killer. you want to run perks to make sure you can get a hit because survivors will just absolutely prevent you from getting your power. Corrupt is like a must on this killer because if they take forever preventing that first hit, you're going to want you're going to want to make sure you can have some way to hit them. So bamboozle, brutal strength to eat through the pallets faster, something. He needs a lot of perks to make him not as bad against a good team. His add-ons are really good though. Very good add-ons. The pink ones, meh, but the purples and greens are great. Death Slinger. Uh, I don't really know. I've gone against some really good Death Slingers and some not so good Death Slingers. If they zone you, he's going to catch you, basically. I might put him in A minus tier. I think he's just another B tier. I don't want to overwhelm B tier too much, but he's definitely not A minus. Not in my opinion. Pyramid Head, I'm gonna put below Huntress. I think that's pretty fair. He is very strong because he can tunnel so well. That's why he stays that way in competitive DBD. Plague's Eerie makes her so close to being an S tier too. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Her Eries are good. I guess she does have better Eries than Oni. Billy has better Eries too. I might put Plague in between them because her add-ons are just a bit better. But yeah, Pyramid Head, he can tunnel very well. You cage someone, you go back to the cage, and then you kill them, or you down them because they don't have BT, they don't have Dead Hard, they don't have DS, they don't have Off the Record, they don't have many perks that could save them. You down them and you hook them again. Then when they get unhooked, if you torment them again, you can just chop them. Like he's so good at taking people out of the game, and his power goes through walls and it can double hit. So he's good at camping for that reason. Blight, as of right now, I'm gonna put Blight in S tier because this is 7.6.0 tier list. Uh, I think a lot of this will change with. Actually, you know what? Why don't I base this? Why don't I base this on the update coming out? Because I already have my opinions on what Blight's gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna touch Blight. I can't really say for twins, but Blight. I think Blight's gonna drop down to A minus because he can no longer hug tech. There will be so many tiles he can't play. He won't be able to play Shack anymore. The little hug tech slides that most Blights do around Shack, that won't exist. He won't be able to play around the car loops anymore. He won't be able to play around any loop that has any awkward tiling because he's just going to bump into it now because he's guaranteed to bump into most things. He, I don't know. His add-ons are still strong. He's still a strong killer. I don't think he's going to be S tier anymore. I think this bumps him out of S tier, below other killers. He's just gonna be a very good average killer. Probably above Hag. I don't know. I'd put him behind Hag. That doesn't make sense. I was saying honestly that Blight might even beat B tier, but with the A minus tier, I'll put him there. Twins, the new Twins rework obviously jumps her up to even stronger than Twins, or stronger than Nurse. But if they do just increase Victor's cooldown so he can't attack as much, I still think they're very strong. In my opinion, Twins will still be S tier no matter what they do to him. I always thought Twins were like at least A tier. I think I'll put them at A tier considering they're going to do some nerfs to her from PTB. We don't know what's going to happen. I can't really give accurate opinions on that, but Victor right now, he can 2-tap, and then after he 2-taps, he can get you move at 125% move speed. You can use that to down another killer or another survivor. And then then you have two people down. It doesn't really solve the slugging issue. It just makes her a bit better. And her map control will be great because she's in two places at once. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. She checks all the boxes. Good chase power, good map control now. And just everything. Just everything. Trickster. Okay. When Trickster was released after the PTB, like during PTB when they first reworked him, he was not S tier. He was like A tier. Like up here. And then when he was released, he was like C tier. And then they did a Band-Aid patch and then he was like B minus tier. And now I think Trickster is very strong, actually. I think he's a very good killer. I'm gonna put him above Dustlinger, if it would let me. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I have to do it like that. Uh, I think Trickster's very strong. Like I'm pretty good with Trickster, and most of the matches I've had with him have felt like I've been able to do a lot better. To have 6 second chases with twins, yeah, it's nutty. Trickster is very strong, stronger than Deathslinger for sure, because the main event can just eat through health states. It's very good. Nemesis, he's just another one of those killers that's doomed to be mid. He's doomed to be mid. His chase power eats through pallets like Demogorgon. Um, I don't know if he's above Demo though, because his power can also be prevented. So I'm gonna put him below that. Good teams can manage his infection rate pretty well. So we'll put him there. Pinhead, I'm gonna put him above Noob Light. This is Noob Light. I think Pinhead is very strong. Great map pressure. His anti-loop is pretty good. He does kind of rely on impaling wire. Uh, but I mean, it still makes him a decent killer, I'd say. Artist, okay, this might be my most biased opinion. I think Artist is S tier. I think Artist is S tier because of how strong she is. There is almost nothing you can do if an artist is right next to you in a good tile. She'll place a bird at the window. She places a bird at the pallet. Even if you try to run away, she gets barely slowed down placing these birds. And so you just get hit no matter what happens. You run away from the tile, you get hit. You stay in the tile, you get double tapped. And then she can injure people across the map. Dead Man Switch prevents you from doing gens at all. Like you can't do gens at all against her if she has Dead Man Switch or even Pain Res. Merciless Storm, I saw someone use that in a competitive game of Artist, and they stuck the gen because they didn't want to activate Merciless Storm, and then she got a free injure on them, and it forced them off the gen anyways, and the gen was blocked for the 20 seconds, and then the person she was camping died on hook because she was able to camp the hook and stop a gen across the map. So obviously she wasn't like too close to the hook, but because of the proxy camp stuff. But actually, in competitive, they're not allowed to unhook themselves. I think that's banned. You can't unhook yourself with the anti-camp because competitive DBD doesn't like that. That was added. They think it was a bad change. So you're not allowed to do that. But still, very strong that you can camp someone or even proxy camp and still defend gens. S tier is too much though. I think that's. I think I'm gonna put him right there between artist, or between twins and spirit. Artist is a very good killer. She's very strong. Onryo is going to be very hard to place because you have to play her perfectly to get really good results out of her. And she's kind of strong when you do that. I feel good about B tier. Like B tier looks pretty good for me. I think I think this stuff is nice. I think the A minus tier is nice. I don't really know if they're gonna do more tweaks to Blight. A tier looks fine. The only thing that I would change is twins if they do some sort of tweak. But A minus. Nah. Because if you don't know how to play Onryo, like you have to have insane map knowledge and awareness of playing Onryo to do well with her now. Like she has no chase power. She only has map pressure. B minus is what I was thinking too. She's not TP brain dead as she once was, but her condemn build is dead. Yeah. Yeah, she's not like I still get condemn kills. Like if I have like a 240 whatever condemn kills or whatever since the update came out, like I could probably do a win streak with her at some point to give a better decision. But I think for the average Onryo player, even for new players, like you have to have a PhD to play Onryo and still get really good condemn kills. Like you have to know what you're doing. We'll put her in B tier. Dredge. Dredge is weak. They need to buff Dredge. His anti-loop is great. I feel like he should move faster while he's holding his remnant. That's just a me opinion. I feel like he should teleport faster. Uh, just have faster teleport speed. I feel like lockers need to be more consistent across maps. They just need to improve that. Just like improving lockers across all maps would help Trickster, Huntress, and Dredge. Um, Dredge, I'm gonna put above Ghostface because it at least has a chase power. Wesker, a good A tier killer. Definitely not above Oni. Probably a bit better than Pyramid Head because Pyramid Head is still good at tunneling, but he's just a bit better at tunneling. I don't know. With new Huntress, I don't really know. They're kind of. I might switch those around. Wesker just has. He has a very good chase power. He has good slowdown because they have to get rid of the infection, and he has good tunnel ability because if he tunnels you off hooked while you're infected, and he has an add-on to make sure it increases 30% faster, you will eventually get 8% slower and insta-downable no matter if you're healed or not. So he has great tunnel ability, very good chase power, and he has good map pressure because he can use it to get across the map pretty quickly. Knight's just another killer that's probably going to end up in B tier. He's so clunky and he's so add-on reliant on Map of the Realm and Call to Arms that I'm gonna put him probably. I don't know if I can put Knight above Bubba. That just doesn't make sense, and he doesn't seem like he belongs in this tier either. He's I can't. I feel like C tier and D tier are resolved for killers with like no anti-loop power, because those killers are just bound to forever be mid in current DBD state. Like any killer that doesn't have anti-loop in this game, like these are basically the four killers with no anti-loop, or five. All five of these don't have any anti-loop ability. Everybody else, this is a trend that you'll see for DBD. What makes a good killer is a killer that can outplay a survivor with their power in terms of anti-loop, or like a realistic thing. And Knight is just he's so finicky. I think I'm gonna put him above Onryo. I don't think I could put him above Bubba. We're gonna put him in B minus. Dredge does have anti-loop, but it's not very good. He moves really slow while holding the remnant. Skull Merchant. She does have a high kill rate, but that's just because everyone hates going against her. I don't think she's I don't think she's strong. Definitely not stronger than Trickster. Trickster can Giga Camp way better than Skull Merchant, and that allows for easy tunneling. I think she's strong. She's definitely strong. I could even consider putting her in A minus, but if I'm gonna put Skull Merchant in A minus tier, that means Trickster should go there. You know what, I might even do that right now. I think I'll put Trickster in A minus tier. I do wish Trickster had faster throw rate. That's all I really kind of wish for current Trickster. His throw rate's a bit slow, but we'll see. He does have the add-on that I just run constantly. And then I'll put Skull Merchant at the top of B tier. She's very strong against public lobbies. She's like old Onryo. She's kind of just like very strong against noobs, a noob stomper, but like has good counterplay. Singularity. I'm a P100 Singularity player. I feel like I have a very good opinion on Singularity's power. This is probably the killer out of on the entire list. This is probably who I could rank the best with because I have the most experience with this killer. I think Singularity is. He has great anti-loop. He has great map control because of his pods. And he has great. He has. I think I'm putting him A minus at the top of A minus. Singularity being above. No, because every time I see a tier list, Singularity's in like B tier, right? But I think the really good Singularity players like Harry and Coco Latte, like I saw Coco Lante's YouTube video where he played against a competitive team, and he did very good actually against a competitive team. A minus for Larry the Legend. I think, yeah, I think this is where he belongs. Singularity, very, very good if you play him non-stop and you main him. If you're just an average Singularity player, you don't really play him that much, probably drop down to like B tier. I think he deserves to be up here though, for the good players. Um, Xenomorph. Ugh. Very strong chase power, very annoyingly strong chase power, and if they run the add-on that makes them vault faster on top of Bamboozle, you have almost nothing you can do in chase. You're going to go down. They have good map control because of their tunnels, and because of the good chase power, they can tunnel pretty easily as well. I think put them above Singularity. Singularity above an A minus tier. Chucky. Chucky doesn't have map control because nobody falls for the fake footsteps. The only thing Chucky has going for him is an insanely oppressive chase power that has a long cooldown, which is the only reason it's not S tier, and stealth. And I think his chase power is so strong. You just put that. Chucky's just. I don't know if he belongs to them. I think artist. I think Chucky's better than Spirit, but weaker than artist. So I'll put him there. His power, scampering. They drop the pallet. He just goes under the pallet, and then if you go around the like this is I've done this a million times as Chucky. I was a Chucky main when he came out. I had the world record Chucky win streak, 127 wins in a row with Chucky. You drop Shack pallet, they're like, oh shit, I gotta go around and then vault the window to get in. He scampers fast enough and then charges fast enough to still get an injure on them trying to vault into Shack. I maybe they could make it with resilience, but like there's almost nothing you can do even with a god palette. He completely counters god palettes. It's it's actually pretty disgusting. And then the undetectable gets you some free hits sometimes. Guaranteed free hit every 20 seconds is so fun. Yeah. Unknown. Okay. Unknown. I am currently maining Unknown. He will probably be my main because I love this character. I not only do I love this character like in terms of gameplay wise because he's a lot of fun. He just has such a high skill ceiling. I feel like I will never be able to fully master this killer in terms of shots he can get. And the teleport, like what I found is he can make use out of builds and perks that you could never really make use out of or make viable at high MMR. Like I get insane value out of discordance and nurses on this killer because you get double taps. Like orbital double taps are insanely strong. Like no other killer can do that. Not even Huntress can do double taps orbitals unless she like throws them, but she has a cooldown in between each hatchet. Like Unknown can be so strong, but his power can be removed very easily, and so it promotes a hit and run playstyle. But the hit and run playstyle also is nice because if you catch people off guard and they are weakened, you have a very high chance to down them. And he can hit people through walls, so he's good on indoor maps. He's not as map reliant as Singularity can be. A lot of people are putting Unknown in like B tier, but I don't think he deserves to be there. I really
I like Mr. Wiggles. He is fun. Good map control once set up. Technically has two anti-loop powers, both the UVX and teleport if set up right. O effect and good in many gyms. I'd put him in A or A.
mm-hmm. A or A minus. Oh, I'm looking where yeah, I'm thinking why okay, well let me drag him back down. He's just gonna sit there for a second. I might have done Blight too dirty. Like I feel like Blight still may be better. He might be at the top of A minus. I think I feel pretty confident with everything below this list. I'm very confident with. It's this that I think I want to shake up. Hands of a good player, Unknown pushes up to A minus with map traversal and can have variety builds to complement both his active and passive ability. Yeah, so I'm running monitor and abuse, discordance, and nurses. And I don't know if you've seen any of the matches, but the amount of double hits you get with that build are insanely strong. And I have a 36 win streak with that right now. One Pump Willie got to 67, I believe, with a build like that, and it was with no gen perks. Like it's so offsetting for survivors that even coordinated teams fall to this because they like you can be anywhere whenever you want. You just like snap your fingers, you're across the map, and they have no clue. You can be chasing someone, and they don't know when you're gonna teleport because you're in chase. You're like you can't even tell your teammates, "Oh, I'm in chase with the killer. Don't worry, you can heal." Because then mid chase he teleports, and then you're in range of Nurse's calling, and he gets a double hit on you. And if you're both weakened, that's a double down, and that changes the entire course of the game. Like he makes use out of so many perks, and this is another reason I love him so much. He makes use out of so many perks that you could only rarely get value out of it before. They need to be fully aware and micromanage multiple things. Yeah, in a game of unknown. I think for that, definitely better than Pinhead. Definitely better than. I wouldn't say definitely better. I think I'm gonna fit him. It's either in front of Singularity or behind him. I think he belongs here. It's crazy that Blight's this far down on the list, but you'd say behind Larry. Yeah, yeah, his anti-loops. Because Singularity's anti-loop, you can't really get rid of it. Like, cause his anti-loop, I'm classifying as you have a bubble on your back, and even if you get rid of it mid chase, he just puts a pot up, he marks you, then he can get it back. It's way harder to reapply weakened, and they get rid of weakened without any EMP, and they get rid of it just by looking at you, which is very finicky, and I think that's what sets him behind Singularity. Because you also get rid of it very quickly. So, if the unknown player is in the open and they can't hide from you once they apply weaken, it's very difficult. I think, I think that's where he belongs. I'm gonna kind of go through and refine this list a bit, maybe up from the bottom. I am confident with these, confident with this as well. Clown is a bit stronger. I could put him above Onryo, but I still think Onryo can be good in the right hands. Knight has a million just he's so bad. He's so bad to play. He feels miserable. I really just want them to do some sort of quality of life for him, but anytime they touch Knight, I'm pretty sure a million survivors would go into their posts on the forums and go like, Knight already sucks to play against, don't touch him. Which I agree with, but I don't think giving him add-ons that everyone's already running on him base kit will change playing against him being awful. It'll just make him better to play. But then I guess more people will play him, and so people don't want that. It puts him on a heavy time loss, yeah. You still think Knight belongs in D or C tier? I just can't. I don't know. He has anti-loop, and his anti-loop is good. The D C tier? Yeah, true. Um, okay. I don't know. I want to move him. 4 total add-ons on his actual get value. His ability gets bullied by a good team. Oh, yeah, against a good team. You don't have an ability. They just take the guard for you. And then you literally are just an M1 killer. Okay. You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna bump them down. Because they can get rid of your power entirely. Like if you have a teammate getting tunneled by the knight, you should stay with that teammate. And then when he places a guard, you make sure the guard aggroes onto you. So it sees you first. And then he's just chasing their teammate. And if it's like the jailer or whatever, or the chunky guy, he'll chase you forever, and then it helps your teammate out so much. Then the knight has no power because he's not gonna leave to chase you because you'll just loop around and get the flag and you'll be free. Like, yeah, you know what? We're putting knight in C tier. That's where he belongs. I think I'm pretty confident with Ghostface. I feel like Clown could be up because they did buff him a bit. Um, I maybe above Onryo. Put him above Onryo. Clown used to be C tier, okay? So, in my opinion, Clown used to be like down here. He's at the top of B minus tier. That's pretty good. Bubba, forever mid. Wraith, pretty decent. New Piggy buffs. She used to be C tier. Her buffs put her up to here because she was still a decent killer because of her built-in slowdown, and her anti-loop is a bit better now, but it's mainly just the faster crouch speed making her map pressure a bit better, because moving quickly around the map with a stealth ability that you can control like no other killer, even Ghostface's stealth ability you can't control as well as Piggy, because she can crouch. You can't put her out of her stealth. She can control when she's going to be stealthy, and I think that gives her great ability to sneak up on survivors if she's moving a bit faster. Doctor, his new buffs made him feel pretty good. I think Nemesis is way better at tunneling, eating through pallets, getting rid of decisions for survivors. Demogorgon has way more control because he doesn't really have to tier up at all. He has some setup required, but if you run Corrupt, he's fine. Deathslinger's power, mid. I would probably put him above Skull Merchant if they didn't nerf Stabiffle for him. I hate that you lose a stack just for shooting a survivor and then hitting them, and so you lose all 8 stacks of Stabiffle trying to use it on Deathslinger. I still think that's absolute bullshit. For Trickster, you lose 32 stacks downing one survivor because you lose the stack 2 stacks every time you hit the obsession with a knife. So that's just even worse. But that's another thing. Skull Merchant, I think she's only so strong because if you're playing solo queue, your teammates are just gonna give up. And even good teams don't even want to play against her. But at the end of the day, she's just like Clown. She speeds herself up. She slows you down. You still have pallets. If you're just at a god pallet, she's not gonna be able to hit you. You just fall back and forth. And the only thing that the only thing that sets her apart is the free injury can lead to a double tap, and that gives her pretty strong stuff. And she does have decent map control, so we'll put her there. Trickster, I'm putting him up here because of the tunnel factor. I feel like most killers that like Pyramid Head is up here because of his tunnel factor. Trickster's good at tunneling and camping. Hag, pretty decent. Pyramid Head, or not Pyramid, Pinhead, very good if he runs the add-on that can result in really good tunneling, like the original Pain or original Pin, whatever add-on. You just hit them with that when they get unhooked. It eats their off the record, and then you down them. And they can't dead hard. They can't use off the record. Unknown, we already discussed. I think he's a great killer. Probably one of the most balanced killers they've ever released. He's in the past 2 years, they have always released another patch 2 to 3 weeks after a killer's came out because they needed to do balance changes in terms of they needed to buff this killer or they needed to nerf them. For Chucky, it was a nerf. The Xenomorph, it was a nerf. Who else came out recently? Skull Merchant was, I don't know if it was a nerf. I get kind of a nerf. Kind of a nerf. They did kind of buff Dredge a bit. But Unknown never got any changes. They buffed Singularity, it was a buff. Unknown didn't get any changes. I think he was in probably the most balanced state when they released him, and I don't know if they're ever going to give him tweaks. They'll look at his kill rate and maybe decide off of that. I think he's fine. I'd like maybe like an extra second or two added to the weekend timer, like 12 seconds. Or maybe give him a Brown add-on where it takes like an extra 2 seconds to get rid of it. That would be cool. Even an extra second. Like it would be such a good thing to have. But I do like his add-ons overall. Singularity is a great killer. I think he takes a very long time to master, but I'm very good with him as well. Xenomorph is just very strong. There's some cool shots you could do with the tail. Not very fun to play in my opinion, but yeah. Blight is fun to play, but no longer being able to huck tech is going to make him very, very map dependent and very tile reliant on if he can get a hit or not. He's gonna rely on his speed add-ons a lot more. I do know that because you're gonna need to catch survivors off in a different way. Pyramid Head. I don't think Huntress is above Wesker. I'm putting him above. Pyramid Head, Huntress, makes sense. Wesker, Oni being stronger than that. Plague is very strong. New Billy, incredibly strong. They actually started banning low pro chains from competitive Billy because of how good he is. And I believe, I don't know who this was. There was a Twitter post I saw from some comp DVD player saying that Billy is one of the top 3 killers now. They said Nurse, Blight, and Billy are S tier. I don't think he's strong enough to be S tier, but I do agree Billy is way stronger now. Spirit, I hate playing against Spirit. I might have to do a tier list of killers I hate to play against. We could do a DC tier list of like DC, don't DC, noodles. You, have you ever seen that meme? I do like a list like that. Chucky, unfun to play against. Yeah. Artist. Artist is very strong. I already gave you my opinion on that. I think Artist is very strong. Twins, probably gonna be the second best killer in the game at this point, if they keep Twins as is. Uh, I might in the future, as more patches come out, maybe within like a year, I'll do another tier list or something, or an updated tier list, based off of some mid patches that they buff or tweak certain killers, and then new killers will come out, obviously. But yeah, we'll do that. Okay, and then Nurse S tier. We don't need to argue about that. I think that's everything. This is gonna be my final tier list. I've gone through everything. I think I agree with this. I think I do. We're gonna have to add timestamps though for my yapping.